Hello everyone and welcome back. Now today is going to be something a bit different, as you can tell by the title. Today I'm going to talk about heartbreak while reacting to a video which involves a heartbroken individual. Now this isn't going to be like your typical reaction video where I just watch something and go, haha, that's so funny. No, this is going to be a serious one because I saw the video and the guy in it was slightly unhinged to say. I mean, the comments on the video are actually being mixed. Some say he is a complete and total psychopath. Others wish their partner would show such passion. It's all about heartbreak, and but I want you to watch and listen because seeing it reminded me of how I was when I was younger, and I wanted to share these feelings and rather my opinions on heartbreak and moving on, which I think is very important. It's something we've all probably had to do at some point in our lives, and admittedly easier said than done in the time, but it's something that needs to be done. Now, without further ado, I'm going to show you the first part of the video, and you'll see exactly what I mean, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts and give my advice to him and anyone else who is going through something similar.
I can't move on. I can't move on. I won't allow myself to move on because you're all I want.
Now, as you can see, the man is going through an emotional hard time. I get that because I think, well, I've felt this way before when relationships are finished and you think that's it, no more. You'll never get over this because at the time the pain feels immense. I mean, really immense, and I get that. I mean, I've never screamed on during while making a TikTok in a car or anything, but I've felt the pain that comes from losing a relationship. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I know whether this is just a relationship, a marriage breaking up, or something else, because context is not really given in this video, but the heartbreak I understand. The loss of someone you love leaving you and not wanting to be with you is hard. I get that. I've never screamed in a car before, but inside I've hurt. And I've wanted to do something. I mean, I never really have. I've just gotten on with life. I think most people have probably done the same thing. But it is hard. And I feel for anyone going through that. Anyone, okay? And I think most of us at some point have felt like this.
I don't want nobody else. I don't love nobody else. I don't want my body, my soul, and my heart to belong to anybody else but you. It doesn't feel right to even speak to another person, to get to know anybody else, to even look in their direction.
Now, this is the pain I was talking about. This is something I think most people have felt. When a relationship ends because you think, that's it. I'm not going to find anybody else who makes you feel the way that you did. But sad reality is that we will. I mean, you never understand this when you are heartbroken, but I mean, as you get older, you do understand. But at the time, you don't feel you will. But the bulk of us do move on. The bulk of us eventually get over the heartbreak. I mean, there are small individuals who never do, and I feel for them. And I think they should see a professional. And I'm serious about that. They should if they're still feeling it. Because it's only natural to fall in love with someone. And it's only natural to be hurt when that person doesn't want to be with you anymore. And I'm not going to go into reasons why, because you don't know. This guy doesn't explain it. I mean, there could be another TikTok where he does, but at the end of the day, you'd only be getting his point of view from the whole thing. And I doubt his partner has ever made a reply to this either, saying it's over, you need to get on with it, and you shouldn't have done X and Y, or you should have done something else. But I understand the pain. I felt this when my first proper relationship ended. Because I thought, I'm not going to love anyone else. I couldn't bear to look at other people. I thought, nope. You're the only one I love. And that's it. If I can't be with you, then I will not be with anybody else. But in time, I got over the pain. And most people do. But it doesn't make it easy. However, sometimes we just got to move on. We don't like it, but sometimes you just have to, because that's life. It takes two people to make a relationship work. And if one person doesn't want to be in a relationship, then there's literally nothing you can do to fix that, because they don't love you like you love them, and that's fine, because that's life. Chances are, in life, you will meet someone who feels the same way about you, but you won't feel the same way about them. I mean, I know I have. I've met people, okay? Some I've loved, some I've liked. Some have loved me, and I haven't necessarily loved them back. But that sadly is life. And you can't force yourself to be with someone you don't love, because then no one will be happy. And you only end up dragging both of you down.
Everywhere I go, every second, I think of you. I can't move on, and I won't. I promised you to stay beside you for the rest of our lives.
Now, there's not much else I can add to this bit, but it's worth stopping to have a little think. Because, as I said before, this is something most of us have felt. And those of us who haven't felt it probably will at some point in their lives. But, as I said before, you've got to learn to move on in life, okay? You've got to learn to let go. It's not easy, I will admit, but it's something you've got to do. Because I've seen there's so many relationships out there where people are miserable because they've decided to stay together for one reason or another, despite the fact they don't even love each other anymore. And this guy will probably never watch this. He'll probably never even see this, but if you are listening, I hope you're doing okay now. And I hope you have learned to move on. But if you haven't, please do so. Okay, because putting yourself in this hyper emo mode will do no good. Okay, you got to find a way just to keep the thoughts out until they go. I mean, I found when my first proper relationship ended, and I was in immense pain, or, well, I say immense pain, it felt like it for me, but it wasn't really. It's the same heartbreak that bulk of society has gone through and will go through. But I had ways, or I tried to find ways just to make me not think about it, because I found that was the easiest thing I could do. I used to listen to comedies on Radio 4 and try and download them to listen to. Canned laughter was good for me. There was music, emo about, I think. Actually, I remember now. There was this song I used to listen to. I can't remember what the song was called, and I can't remember the lyric to it. I do remember the band who done the song was Korn, with a K. Picture will be up here right about now. And there was this song they sung. And there's one lyric that used to fill me with hope. It was like a confirmation that yes, this does hurt. But it won't hurt forever. Now, I can't remember what that song is called, and I'm not even going to bother finding out. Because I don't know the album, and I'm not about to listen to a ton of hours just in the hope that I remember the song when I hear it. Not that it really matters, because we all find there's always a song out there somewhere that makes us feel better about things. And eventually the pain went. It disappeared. I mean, I look back now and I still think, yeah, part of me does still wish it did work out, because actually, no, that's a lie. I don't. There's that old romantic side of me that wished everything worked out immediately, but the part of me up here, me old noggin, knows that it would have brought me misery, would have brought them misery too. And we would have hated each other. And it could have ended horribly. Well, it would have ended eventually. But such is life. Now, to anyone watching this suffering from heartbreak, I'll say this now. The pain will end. It will. Because there are other people out there. And I understand it's hard, because you think, I'll never love anyone else like this, but you probably will. Eventually you will move on. But you can't let yourself get too down. Okay, you can't get into the emo state of mind. And don't even think about pulling the old nobody knows my pain routine, because everyone knows your pain. People have probably been feeling stuff like this since the dawn of time. Okay, love is probably one of the oldest human emotions going. I mean, even animals love. Well, some of them do anyway. So even they understand heartbreak. Because at the end of the day, we are not special. None of us are really that special. Well, we have things that make us special individually, but overall, no. We're not special. We're just ordinary people. We're blips in human history. That's it. We're just a blip. The previous generation was a blip. We're a blip. And the next generation is a blip as well. That's it.
Or that old school love back in the 50s and 60s. Now it's us against the world. And I will always remain that in my head. That will always stick in my head every day until the day I die. It's us against the world.
Firstly, I'd like to say, do not fall into the trap of saying we're old school. Okay? And the modern generation doesn't know jack about this sort of thing, or they don't get it. Because that's not true. Whatever generation you're from, okay, you did not invent love and romance. Okay? It's invented since the dawn of time. You find records of any civilization that has written stuff, you'll find mentions of love. You'll find mentions of romance. Okay? If you look hard enough for everything, you'll eventually find times where people have gone mad because their loved ones have died. Okay, and left them. So we're not the only generation to experience this. Every experience before us has experienced this sort of pain. And every generation after us will feel it too. It's part of the human experience. I hate to say this. Ideally, none of us would feel pain. We'd fall in love, we'd be happy forever. But life doesn't work like that. And nor does humans. We do not work like this either. Now, on to the next bit. I am left with the impression that when he says, to the day I die and us against the world, that gives the impression that they were either married or at least engaged. And that's not something I'm going to pretend I understand. Well, I know what marriage is, and I know what engagement is. But I've never been engaged. And I've never been married, obviously. But the pain is roughly the same kind of pain. One could argue it's a greater pain or a lesser pain, but that's irrelevant. The type of pain is irrelevant. It's like being hit on the head. If you do it soft or hard, the pain is the same. Different levels of pain, but it's the same type of pain. And fortunately, we don't get context on this. There's no context for this relationship, fortunately. So we're just stuck guessing. And as he doesn't really give us the context, you're kind of left wondering. But as I said before, and I'll say it again because it's worth saying again, you've got to learn to move on in life. If you don't move on, you'll fall behind and you'll spend the best years of your life, even the majority of your life, wishing you had something which is unobtainable. And yes, it does hurt. It's a harsh truth, but it is a truth all the same, because I've been in love. I've felt the pain. And lots of other people have too. Now, I've never felt the urge to just make a TikTok in my car and just scream, I can't move on without you. And thinking about it, that's probably his partner's name on his arm tattooed there. I think, looking at the edit footage, I think it says Natalie, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I mean, I could be wrong. But in life, we have to move on. It's hard, I know, because, and it's scary to move on, okay? To ditch something that you know and love. Sorry about this, people. But you've got to lose, sometimes you've got to dash your hopes and your dreams. Now, I'm not suggesting we become Buddhists and ditch everything that we hope and dream for. Okay, I'm not suggesting that at all. But the lesson to be learned is that sometimes we have to. Because sometimes we don't actually love the person. Sometimes we love the idea of the person.